Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, joined by co-host Jeff.
Mark, how we doing? How you feeling about our new format?
I like it.
Clicking with you?
No, I do. The new format is. I wouldn't say it took some getting used to, is because we're just drafting week to week now. But it is fun to go into like an IMDb cast list and go, ooh, let me see what the filmography for this guy is, and then looking through a filmography for just say like this movie that you'll tell us what we watched, but like Val Kilmer's filmography.
Oh, baby boy, do I hope you picked a Val Kilmer movie. Fucking love
I didn't.
Val Kilmer.
I didn't.
But
it's adventurous, I would say, and I do like that. Like there is no overarching theme. It's just week to week movies, and this week's movie had nothing to do with the genre or type or anything that last week's movie was, and so far so good. What about you?
Yeah, and the other thing I like about it is we sort of get this mini, like we had themes based around actors, and we sort of get like mini themes. We got double Miles Teller this week, so if your first time listening this year, you're not sure what the hell we're talking about, let me explain. Normally, we monthly draft themes, we have monthly themes and then draft movies based around those themes and watch them and talk about them. But we're taking a break from that this year in 2025 and doing what I call 1 degree of separation, where each film we watch has 1 degree of separation. Maybe it's got the same actor, director, something like that. So, Mark, let me see if I can run this down again real quick. I need to write them down. But we started with last year's last movie, which was A Simple Favor, starring Anna Kendrick, who was in Life After Beth, which starred Paul Reiser, who was in Whiplash, which starred Miles Teller, who is in Top Gun Maverick from 2022, directed by Joseph Kosinski, starring Tom Cruise, Jennifer Connelly, Miles Teller, Val Kilmer, Brad Shear, Salahudi, I apologize, sir, and John Hamm, as well as Glenn Powell. And it runs for 2 hours and 10 minutes. And this is my second viewing. What about you?
Yeah, went and saw this one in the theaters, much like probably half of the country when it came out.
It did
loved
very well. In an
yeah.
era where people weren't quite back at the theaters yet.
Yeah. And this one kind of kicked that back off, right?
Yeah.
It was the first true summer blockbuster post-pandemic. And
it kept getting delayed and delayed because of the pandemic.
Right.
Like, because I think this was slated to even drop like in 2020 even.
Well, Paramount came out during the pandemic and said that they were shifting a lot of their big releases to streaming, right? And VOD and all this, and the assumption was that Top Gun Maverick would get moved to VOD. And Paramount very quickly, they heard those rumors, are like, absolutely not. This film, we will delay this film until, we believe people will go see it in theaters.
They knew what they had.
Oh yeah. And I'm so glad they did. This movie, I mean, I feel bad that if you didn't get to see it in theaters, because it's it's a true oh, okay. Well, it's a true blockbuster, and it's a true popcorn flick. We talked about it last week. A true popcorn flick in the most true sense of that word, where you can just get a bucket of popcorn and you're just glued to the screen. It's because it's not a quick movie. I mean, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes long, so that classifies as a long movie. But it's brisk in the fact that there is no stoppage. There's very little downtime.
Yeah.
and it's constantly moving. And Tom Cruise is so good. I mean, he's a movie star from previous generations that has kind of carried, the title movie star with him decade to decade. I love this movie. I'm so glad you picked it because this movie is awesome. I watched it with my family.
Yeah.
It is, and like my daughter, when we saw it in the theaters, my daughter had never seen the original Top Gun. And I never it never dawned on me to show it to her. And even leading up to to this movie, she never came to me and was like, hey, I want to see Top Gun. And I never really was like, hey, let me show you Top Gun. It's because honestly, the original Top Gun is not this good. And that may be sacrilege to some people, but it's not. It's nowhere near this action pack.
No, it's not. It's not this good.
It is not, right. And so
it's a legendary film, but it's not as good as this.
No, and that's what's so jarring having watched Top Gun, the original, and then watching this. It's the rare sequel that's better than the original. And I mean, it's a home run in every sense. I mean, we'll get into it, but this movie from start to finish is perfect.
Damn, that's a big statement. And I'm just going to go in and agree. This movie kicks ass. So, not only is it better than the original, but it does such a great job being a sequel.
Yeah.
It isn't just some sort of weird reboot. They pick off all this time has passed. Goose's son is fully grown and played by Miles Teller, and Miles Teller fucking looks like Goose.
Right.
Which is the scene where he's at the piano with the aviator glasses on and the t-shirt open.
Yeah.
It's shit, it's just Goose again. But it's
Miles Teller is such a good actor. And we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
But he's so I'm glad that they got the opportunity to showcase his musical talents, playing the piano in this film, is because he's very good. I mean, like we talked about last week. Sometimes they show an actor sitting at a piano and they're not really playing. Miles Teller is actually playing, and he's very good, and so it's very authentic. Yeah. And Miles Teller is one of those actors that you just kind of I don't know. He doesn't have gravitational pull that Tom Cruise does.
Tom Cruise does, yeah.
But he's very likable on screen, and he has this kind of sense of magnetic pull. And when he's on screen, it's good. And him and Tom Cruise's interactions were very good throughout this entire film. And just kind of another A plus casting choice by whoever casted these people.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely A plus. And then also, yeah, he kind of reeks of Goose, which he should, but he also it feels like his own character, and he feels like a kid still. Yeah. There's things he's doing that makes him feel like a kid, and so I appreciate pretty much everything he did in this movie. And then, of course, Tom Cruise, I think, is playing a character with much more depth than the original Maverick.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Much more haunted Maverick, but, the whole thing about him being where he belongs, he's just the pilot. I'm not going to get promoted where I don't get to fly the planes anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
and one thing I really like about Tom Cruise's character here is that he is so good. The movie doesn't allow him to lose. And it's we don't need him. We don't need Tom Cruise to be humbled by any of these, new generation fighter pilots. We need to know that Tom Cruise is the best of the best. And the movie showcases that by he does, like when they're training and doing the dog fights. Tom Cruise doesn't lose.
Yeah.
And like I really enjoyed that, is because like it would have been different if Tom Cruise, like if Miles Teller's character had maybe gotten one over on Cruise, in their training dog fights. Because I would have been like, ooh, is Maverick losing a step, or is Miles Teller really good? But no, the movie brings us to the fact that Tom Cruise is still the best, and these other pilots are really good. They're just not as good as Tom Cruise.
He's still the GOAT, right?
Right, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate Glenn Powell's character, and he plays it very well.
The new Iceman.
He's
basically Iceman.
Yeah. I mean, a little more. I mean, Val Kilmer's character in the original didn't have as much depth as Glenn Powell does here. But
I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I think they're very similar. Like,
no,
I think they're kind of
beat
for beat copies. Like, he's a beat for beat copy of Iceman.
Yeah.
Like his whole story arc is Iceman's story arc. Like, he's a douchebag to Miles Teller the whole time, and then at the end of the movie, he gets Hangman's respect, and they respect each other. Like, it's the same plot line. Like, I mean, this done again.
Glenn Powell is the hero here in this film, and
I wouldn't say that. He makes a save at the end of the movie.
Well, I mean, he's the reason they live.
He's a douchebag through most of it, and then I just think he does a great job. I mean, he's no Val Kilmer, but he really oozes douchebaggery, and I think he's very entertaining.
No, he is 100%. And I agree with you. It is, they're almost carbon copy of the same character. And I actually don't know how old Val Kilmer was when Top Gun was made, but he's got to be somewhere close to how old Glenn Powell was when this movie was. I would think
so.
And I mean, I enjoyed the love arc bit between Jennifer Connelly and Tom Cruise. It wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't distracting. There was no drama between Jennifer Connelly and Tom Cruise. I just it was perfectly placed, and I really liked how they made her bar the kind of meeting spot for all these aviators, and it's just everything was perfectly placed, but everything seemed organic and nothing seemed forced in the film. And a lot of times love interest in film can be forced, and I just thought it was really good. I mean, the whole sailboat scene and all that's fine. Like, it shows that Tom Cruise, why he's the best fighter pilot alive. He's not the best sailor alive. So, so I enjoy those types of things, and I just thought that bit was fine. I got enough. I didn't get too much, and I didn't want more.
Right. I agree with that. I did like when he has to sneak out of her house. I thought that was pretty good. Really funny to have adults sneaking out of the house to avoid the kids. I like how they flip that on its head. I also really like John Hamm in his. This is like a different role for him, because usually I feel like John Hamm plays a fairly likable character.
Yeah.
Now, I've never watched Mad Men, so.
No, I mean, he's likable in Mad Men too,
but in this, he's very much the hard ass.
Yeah.
And he does a great job, but he also doesn't get in the way. And I also like the cast of pilots. A lot of them are really engaging for the short amount of time they get on screen. Outside of Rooster and Hangman, a lot of them, they don't get a ton of time, but it still develops them enough where you start to root for them.
Yeah. I mean, I especially enjoyed Lewis Pullman as Bob.
Oh, as Bob. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he related to Bill Pullman?
Yeah, it's his kid.
I don't know. Is it? Okay.
Yeah. But he is perfectly likable as a kind of a nerdy fighter pilot, which is interesting. Is because you think of fighter pilots as these kind of hard ass or badass dudes, super cool, and this character's kind of dorky and just kind of like all shucks, and he holds his. I mean, I think he's the aviator in the two-man cockpits there, but for Phoenix, the woman.
Yeah.
But I mean, I agree. The entire cast of pilots was really, really well done, really well cast. Nobody stood out as like I mean, the movie wants you to. Glenn Powell's character, he's kind of the leader of the group, and Rooster, who is and they're kind of they got this back and forth, and just a lot of similarities to the original, and and I think the flashbacks to the original were well done and not overwhelming, and
they didn't do them too much.
Right, it just gave you the glimpse of why Tom Cruise is haunted. I mean, it was 30 years since when this film came out, and Top Gun.
Find out.
I think it was 84, wasn't it?
So this is 22, of course, and that was 86.
Okay, so 25 years. And no, I just thought it the movie doesn't expect everybody to have seen or remember what happened in the original Top Gun. And so I do appreciate the flashbacks. And then I appreciate the the scene with Iceman. I mean Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
it's because that Val Kilmer is he's suffering from health issues.
Yeah.
In real life, and so that's why he's not acting anymore. Aside from this role, I guess, but I thought that was good closure.
It was touching.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so awesome because now, they were. Maybe not acquaintances, but they had mutual respect, but I wouldn't call them friends at the end of Top Gun. And now they're lifelong friends, right? They've been together. Essentially, Iceman has kept Tom Cruise with a job, that sort of thing.
Well, he's kind of shielded him, right? He's shielded Tom Cruise from probably being discharged from the Navy, and so Tom Cruise does owe him a lot.
Yeah.
And no, I just thought it was good. Is because Val Kilmer's condition in real life.
It was an ode to Val Kilmer. It was
Yeah.
It was for all of us who miss seeing him.
Yeah.
I was a huge Val Kilmer fan. Van Damme and Val Kilmer were my shit growing up. I loved just anything he did, except for the Isle of Dr. Moreau. Good God. But I just... And so seeing him again is just like an old friend,
Yeah.
I
mean, you're talking about
watch the movie Top Secret, which is his first film. I watch that quite often. It's one of my favorite movies. So,
well, I mean, you're talking about Val Kilmer, who is another, I mean, 90s, early 2000s movie star. I mean, he was A-list. I mean, there was a run in the middle 90s from 95 to maybe 98, 99, where Val Kilmer was everywhere in everything. And he was an action
Holiday,
star.
Man.
Oh, right. He was. I mean, I agree.
Ghost in the Darkness. I love that movie.
No, that was Heath Ledger. I was thinking of The Order. Val Kilmer did some weird supernatural movie that I forget what it's called, but it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Broken Arrow. He was in Broken Arrow, right?
No, that was Travolta and Slater.
Oh yeah, you're right. He was okay. Damn. So many good 90s.
He was in The Saint.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one. The Saint. That wasn't that good.
I like The Saint. Okay. I'm biased.
I I did like Tom Cruise's his character's relationship with what's his buddy Hondo, who Bashir Salahuddin, and
Right. It's been a pleasure when he's getting in the jet for the final mission.
that got you, a little teary eyed.
There's a couple of them when they land at the end and Rooster's okay.
Yeah.
Oh God.
No, I mean, like,
This
he's
movie
like,
gets you. It gets you.
he's like, he's telling Hondo, in case I don't make it back, it's been a pleasure. And, I mean, it's just like, it's so good. And Tom Cruise is so good at just being Tom Cruise. And, it's not too often that you get Tom Cruise, the actor. Like, most of Tom Cruise's films are just crazy action sequences pieced together with story, right? Mission Impossible movies. Just, he's made a career out of big budget action films. And
In his later years, like, he wasn't necessarily that way in his early years, like Rain Man and
oh yeah. But I
what
mean,
was the one-
Days of
Strictly
Thunder
Business
is a big action movie.
or Risky Business. Yeah, sure. He's got his action movies. I'm not
Yeah.
denying that, but
Yeah.
I think that his whole shtick of just being an action star is really here in the last 2 decades.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, I do think he's a really good actor too, and you get to see that here at certain parts of the film. So I really appreciate those moments. I really appreciate the last act of the movie, bringing Rooster and Maverick together as they try to escape from
Man, that was so much fun.
what is led to be probably Russia, right? Or
They didn't want to say.
No,
I think
right,
they
right.
purposefully didn't want to say.
right. It's
Although, I don't think it was a country as big as Russia, because I don't think that this is an operation we would try to pull against Russia. But there were a couple other things that were odes. I like that they had a playing with the boys sequence. If you remember the volleyball sequence from the
Yep.
original,
yeah.
they had a similar sequence in this. Thought that was pretty good. But I think like one of the big stars of the movie is actually the flying, because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
actually in jets and shit, and all
Yep.
the shots from inside the cockpit are real, and
Yep.
it's amazing. Like it just gives the movie so much authenticity and danger. It kind of takes it from being a fun action flick to being like an all-timer.
Oh yeah. I could have a conversation where this is maybe a top 5 action movie of all time. And I don't think like I'd have to like sit down and think of what are my all time action
Yeah,
films.
Terminator 2.
Yes, Terminator 2, Aliens.
Boy, a lot of Cameron there. Well, they're both James Cameron anyway.
Well, I mean,
But
maybe.
can't argue.
What else?
I would say Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
I think is
Yep.
fucking an all timer.
Yeah.
I'd put this on there, and
I mean,
man, me personally, I'd put Kickboxer, but I don't think that everyone would necessarily get behind that. But Commando. I'd put Commando on there. I love Commando.
I mean,
But that's like the same vein as Kickboxer, so I guess I would put Kickboxer on there.
the film is an ode to, the 80s and 90s where action films reigned. And I just think that this film does everything perfectly. It gives you just the perfect amount. I mean, I could have watched a 3-hour film of this, and I mean, and probably would have. Oh, we got to put RRR on that all time list.
What? RRR, yes, for sure.
But I would put it in the same vein as RRR, where it's just a likable film that doesn't lag, doesn't it does everything right. It's this perfect film for everything that it meant to. Everything that it is and everything that it set out to do, it does, and it does it extremely well. And it is the rare sequel that is better than the original.
Like Terminator 2 and Aliens.
Like Terminator 2 and Aliens, that's correct. Although both of those original films are very, very good.
Alien is very different film than Aliens,
and so is Terminator, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I
love both of them.
I do too.
Just the shit.
James Cameron, man, he's got to stop making Avatar films and go back to making
fucking hell
different types of films. But
I need to rewatch Top Gun. It's been decades since I've seen it.
I'm actually kind of surprised you didn't watch that before this.
Yeah, I just didn't. In all honesty, when I was getting ready to boot this up, I just wasn't in the mood. I was like, I don't really want to watch Top Gun again, like Maverick. And then it started. I'm like, oh yeah, I do want to watch this. This is amazing.
Right.
So that was kind of more how it went, because I was like, I've already seen this. Do I really want to spend 2 hours? And then I watched. I was like, yeah, that was 2 hours well spent. That movie kicks ass.
All right, so Jeff, do you recommend Top Gun Maverick?
100%. It's superb. There's a reason it was a blockbuster, and I think, one of my dad's all-time favorite movies was Top Gun, and I think for a lot of people this is gonna kind of bring back that love and feeling. I did not mean to make that pun and that connection, but boy, it worked out well. I'm the best.
You are the best. Yeah.
How about you?
I also recommend it. I think we're back to back with films that may show up on my top 5 at the end of the year.
Yeah, Miles Teller, man.
Yeah,
hitting a home run.
Yeah. So no, it's perfect in every sense of what a perfect film can be, and I don't want to like sell Tom Cruise short. But even if Tom Cruise wasn't in this and it was Top Gun, Glenn Powell as the main character, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it would still Maverick. Be very good. I mean,
I need Maverick.
Well, it's like, Meg Ryan's character is referenced in this film, but she's not in it. I don't know why, but
money probably. I would have been great to see her in it, but I also get that creates how much time do you really want to spend around her, and she's not in the. Even if maybe Rooster makes a phone call,
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that maybe
but they killed her off screen.
Like maybe he's just having this like crisis of the moment and like doesn't know how to deal with his emotions of Maverick coming back into his life, and he goes and sees his mom, who maybe lives nearby, or like you said, makes a phone call. I could have done with like a 3-4 minute scene where she's giving him advice. I don't know.
But if I have to choose between that and the amazing like actual planes doing flying shit, because I imagine that's pretty expensive, that's an easy choice.
That is an easy choice. Sorry, Meg Ryan, you've been cut for fighter jet.
Cut. Go back to You've Got Mail.
All right, well, Jeff,
want to know what we're watching next week?
Yeah,
your turn.
So, Top Gun Maverick was written by 3 people.
Oh wow, you're going with a writer.
Yeah, and one of those writers is Peter Craig.
Where do you see? Oh, that's Maverick. I'm on Top Gun original. Okay.
And Peter Craig has written films like The Batman.
The Batman is good.
And Bad Boys for Life. And The Hunger Games. And The Town.
I thought we were going to go to The Town, but we're not. Where are we going?
We're not. We're going to watch from the year 2023. No, I'm sorry, 2024. God.
Ooh.
We're watching Gladiator 2.
Oh, hell yeah.
who Peter Craig is a credited writer. I believe he wrote part of the screenplay for this. And
Doesn't matter. Close enough. It's one click away in
It is.
IMDb, and that was the rule.
It is. It runs for 2 hours and 28 minutes. Directed by Ridley Scott, who directed the original Gladiator, and stars Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, and a whole list of other people: Connie Nielsen, Joseph Quinn, you name it, they're in this film. So yeah, you told me that you could get it, and I'm gonna hold you to it. So
Yeah. It's not hard. You just go on the internet and say,
it's not hard.
Stream this.
I take it you haven't seen it, right? Correct?
No, I have not.
Okay. Good. We'll see.
I'm excited.
And
I
it
haven't
gives
seen
you.
This is another sequel.
Yeah.
I've not seen the original in about 1 billion years. Like, I think I saw it in theaters and never again.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I just
interesting.
never huge on it, you know?
That's interesting. No, but I also gave you a very large list of people to choose from.
Oh yeah.
When
Let
it
me
comes
look at that.
comes in next week. So, please choose wisely.
Pedro Pascal. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Denzel.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Paul
Really, that's the
Mescal,
only two.
although he's relatively new, he's got some bangers. I mean, you got Ridley Scott. Come on, what are we doing? You got Ridley Scott.
Oh shit! You didn't even. We could watch Alien. I'm not going to do that. But
Didn't he do what's the one with let's watch Napoleon. Choose a Ridley Scott. Let's watch Napoleon.
don't tell me what to pick.
Oh, House of Gucci. Let's watch House of Gucci again.
We already watched that movie. I'm gonna pick, and it's probably gonna be Pedro Pascal because I love him and he's awesome.
I do too. The Last Duel. That's a good one.
Listen, stop trying to pick my movies.
I'm giving you ideas.
Every time you pick one, I'm not picking it.
What you can pick is to hit the subscribe button when it pops up if you're watching on YouTube, so you don't miss any future content right here on the channel. And if you want to follow the podcast on all your favorite social media platforms, we're at Movie Draft House. We're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, right here on YouTube. Give us a like, follow, and a subscribe. Jeff, tell them where they can find your works of art.
I got all kinds of shit going on. You can check out my new podcast called All Things Being Sequel. It's running right now. We're looking at all the Leprechaun movies. You can also check out Chronologically, where we're currently on a small break as we get ready to prepare for our new season, where we're looking at all the movies of Quentin Tarantino. So lots of stuff coming there. You can also find me on Blue Sky at Jay Queasy if you had any interest in hearing anything I had to say.
That's the
But if you're
letter.
listening
That's
to
the
this,
letter
I guess
J.
Maybe you're in the right market.
That's the letter J.
Letter J.
Queasy.
JQUEASY. Jay Queasy.
Yeah. All right.
It's been my gamer tag since forever.
Jeff, any last words about what you're going to pick next week concerning Ridley Scott?
It isn't going to be any of the films you picked. I'm going to find some weird old shit. I mean, with Ridley Scott, I can go way back.
Way back.
Like, way back.
Like to the
I'll go old and force you to crawl your way back to the 2000s.
that would don't do that. All right.
We'll see you next time.